Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spill the Tea Radio, where we interview awesome singers, songwriters, and those who influence their lives. Spill the Tea Radio explores the journey, creativity, and inspiration behind the songs. My next guest has a sound that continues to evolve with her latest musical art, fusing soul, rock, jazz, and pop without losing listenability. She has played throughout North America and Europe, including the stages of Massey Hall and festivals in the French Quarter of New Orleans. She was in the top 100 on Canadian Idol and twice nominated for a TIMA Music Award. So, let's spill the tea with Choe Watkinson. Welcome, Choe.
Thank you so much.
Well, Choe, there's so much to unwrap in just that one intro. Let's start off with the genre that you've created. This is a very interesting genre, not one that I've heard of before. So let's talk about that. How do you fuse soul, rock, jazz, and pop? Where did that combination come from? What was the inspiration?
Well, tell you the truth, those four genres really came to mind just in an attempt to describe what I do. Um, I find that a lot of current contemporary music is fusion. These days, hip hop and country and all sorts of things are brought together in a song, but it can definitely help with letting people know who you are, to put some genre labels on it. So basically, when I started performing live professionally, I really couldn't choose a genre that I liked the most. And so I did specialize at times in like jazz standards, going into more modern jazz, in especially like Motown and funk. I did quite a lot of that specifically for a while. But I always had like a ska band, a punk band, like all sorts of different things kind of going on. And so I think really like everything came together in my songwriting for this album because I didn't have like a particular framework for the songwriting. I just kind of let it come through me, and yeah, so the album definitely moves between those genres at different times, and there's like a little bits in all of it, but like certain songs have more of some of them than others.
How does that work for you when you are, let's say you're applying for a festival, you want to play at a festival. When you have all of those genres, does that help you when they say, "Oh, she does soul. We're a soul. That's a jazz. It's a jazz festival." Does it work in your favor or does it work against you when you have so many different genres?
I think it works in my favor, on the most part. I I find that like jazz festivals, just as an example, definitely do not strictly have jazz anymore, anyway. So it does depend, of course, on the festival, and it depends on what music I'm kind of featuring at the moment, which of course right now is the album. So with the album, like the word pop even just opens up kind of anything because uh, just means popular music, right? And again, these days, pop music has quite a lot of different subgenres built in there. But yeah, it kind of depends on who I'm talking to, what I'm applying for.
You have a famous dad. Your dad played with Kim Mitchell in the band Max Webster. For those people who are old enough to remember Max Webster, I personally am old enough to remember seeing Max Webster play when I was at college and university. How has having a musical dad influenced your music career?
Uh, I mean, it's definitely influenced my entire life. And I should mention as well that my mother is an incredible singer and that I grew up singing harmonies with her, and both of them taught me quite a lot. Actually, Max Webster was my second concert ever, I guess, when they did their reunion in '95. I was like 10 years old, backstage with no earplugs, and just like, oh. But it was an amazing thing to see at the time. Like I'd heard of this band that my dad was in, I'd heard a lot of the songs. But seeing it live is a completely different thing, of course. And yeah, so just music was always being made in my home by both of my parents. And so that's kind of why it just comes so naturally to me. It's like the thing I know I will always do as long as I'm able, at least. And yeah, I'm very grateful for both of my parents being so awesome.
Was it surreal to see your dad perform? Oh, that's dad, and he's up there rocking it. Was it weird to see that?
It was weird, but it was also very normal for me because he was always writing songs at home, and I'd seen him jam with a few of his friends in another band called Antlers as well, that actually had Mike Tilka in it from Max Webster for a while. Yeah, so it was like all of this was just kind of made to be a normal part of life for me at a really young age. But I mean, every time he performed, I was definitely like, wow, like how does that brain function? It's just amazing. And physically too, he was like such a physical player. It was definitely impressive every time.
You have some busking experience in the probably the mecca of busking, which is New Orleans. Tell us about that experience, about playing out on the streets of New Orleans.
For sure. So definitely an amazing experience. There's kind of a lot to know about the culture of being not a local busking there, which is that you don't really ask for tips. That's kind of left for the locals because there's so
Mhm.
many amazing musicians there, and every tourist who comes to New Orleans kind of wants to be a part of this scene. And you end up getting some tips anyway. And what we would do is go and pay that forward to the bands that we'd go see around the city. But yeah, it was super cool. It's very friendly down there to new musicians, and I remember me and two of my friends and fellow musicians, Kate Roberts and Nairi McPherson. We were singing some three-part harmonies, just a cappella, in front of the park gates at Frenchman Street. And another tourist, fellow tourist, came up to us and was like, "You gals are so great. You must be from Tennessee." And we were all like, "Oh, that's such a compliment." Like, no, we're from Canada.
Did you
And
put your Tennessee drawl on?
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, it just there is, I think, a lot of New Orleans in Toronto if you know where to go. But it's until you go there, you can't really know what it's like. I would recommend everybody go to New Orleans and just experience how there's music all around you. Very cool place for sure.
You were part of the Canadian Idol competition. It's an honor just to be invited to compete. Never mind, get into the top 100. Tell us about that experience for you. What did you like about it? What did you maybe say? Well, I wish I had known this before I got into it.
I would say like it's incredible experience for sure for anyone, whether it goes well or not. I auditioned probably three or four times in a row. And the first time didn't get to in front of the, celebrity judges. Second time I did, but that was it. And then the third, like, so each time I got a little bit farther. And it was very early on in my music career, so I was just finding my sound. And also learning a lot about the industry. So when you go to audition for Canadian Idol at each level, you have a 12-hour day ahead of you, but you're only going to sing for about 30 seconds.
Wow.
So there's a lot of like waiting around, anticipation, kind of trying to meet other people, but you're a little stressed out and you're in competition with these people too. And some of them that's reflected in their attitude a little bit, but lots of friendly people too. But yeah, so waiting around all day and then you finally get in front of the judges and you're gonna have, yeah, like a verse and a chorus, and then they might ask you to do a second song.
Mhm.
But the last year that I went on, I'd been playing a lot of gigs. I'd been doing some recording. I had gotten a lot more experience. Plus, I had done this specifically a few times. And so I was like really getting into my element there. And I got to know the judges a little bit better. They're all great people, and like was in touch with Jake and Zach later in life as well. Got to hang out with Zach actually a few times since then. He's a cool guy. Um, yeah, but I would say like it's really, really intense, hard work. And that hurry up and wait thing that you hear about in the entertainment industry is very accurate. So if you know if you're ever going to go on Canada's Got Talent or whatever's going on these days, I would definitely say like be ready for that and for the kind of intense feeling getting in front of those cameras is like your knees might start to shake and you got to just keep going anyway.
Let's get into one of the songs that Chloe wrote. This song was released in January of 2025. It was recorded at Rat Space Studios in Toronto and was co-written with Thomas Mackay. Let's take a listen to singer-songwriter Choe Watkinson and her song, It's Just So Sweet.
When everything slowed down, when everything stopped, I had to sit and face myself. All things came unblocked, scars beneath the surface, no outlets to distract.
That was It's Just So Sweet by Choe Watkinson. Choe, tell us about that song and what was the inspiration to write it?
The inspiration was really the angst and kind of discomfort that I felt during COVID, having to sit around and just not see the people I love, but also watch on the internet what was kind of being displayed about humanity's nature that was not always pretty. And yeah, just really struggling with what I wanted to do every day. And after some self-reflection and trying a few different hobbies, I guess, I ended up getting into succulents and made an indoor garden. I learned so much about how different succulents were from other plants, and how to keep a thing alive. Honestly, I had a black thumb before this. Like I could not keep a house plant alive to save my life. But yeah, I just fell in love with these little plants, and it gave me this amazing calm and connection to nature, and it kind of saved me during that time.
Choe, how do people find out more about you and your music? What is the website, socials, and the streaming platforms?
So the website will be launched again soon. I will keep in touch on social media to watch for that. But it's chloelovesme.com once it's back up, and all of my social medias kind of mirror that. So on Instagram, it's _ChloeLovesMe. And on Facebook, it's Choe Loves Me. And you can even send me an email if you want it, CWLovesMe@gmail.com.
We have been in conversation with Choe Watkinson. Choe, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Outlets to distract.